A couple of things that you want to pay attention to before we actually get started grading this is just a reminder that when we go from first inversion to second inversion, we take the new bottom, which is the third of the chord, and take it up to the top, which leaves the new middle, or the old top, as the new bottom. Okay, so in second inversion, the fifth of the chord, which means the fifth note above the root, is the bottom. Okay, here we are in close position, meaning everything is within 1 octave. Here we are in open position. From close to open position, we took the middle note and moved it up an octave. So because it's a C here, it is also a C here, giving us G on the bottom, C, E in close position, or G on the bottom, E, C. The inversion is defined by the bottom note, not the order of the notes, the bottom note. Okay, so all together, from root position to first inversion, we took the root of the chord and moved it up an octave. And then from first inversion to second inversion, we took the new bottom, which was the third of the chord, and put it up at the top. And then to get to second inversion, that was second inversion. Now to get up to root position again, we take the fifth that was on the bottom and move it up to the top. So now here we had C on the bottom, E on the bottom, G on the bottom, and we know we're back in root position because we have C on the bottom again. All right. This right here, super duper important. Make sure you are paying attention to this. All right. Let's do the corrections. Remember, everything I have in red, you should have, and if you don't have it correctly, fix it. So, they have already put them in second inversion for you. These are already in second inversion. It wants you to change them from close to open. So, our bottom note is going to stay the same because that is the bottom of the chord. That is what tells us what inversion we are in. The top note of the chord is going to stay the same, and the bottom note of the chord, which in this case is an A because we're in bass clef, is going to move up an octave to this A. All right, bottom note stays the same, top note stays the same, middle note goes up an octave. Bottom note stays the same, top note stays the same, middle note goes up an octave. That is how we go from close position to open position. Now they are giving us a root position chord. We have a standard snowman right there. That's how we know that it is root position. So the bottom note, and let's just put in all of our notes right now, C, E, G. This is the root of the chord, the third of the chord, and the fifth of the chord. To make it second inversion, we have to take the root and the third up the octave, because first inversion would have just been moving the root up an octave. Now to get to second inversion, we have to move the root up an octave and the third up an octave. Okay, so we're in treble clef. Our notes are F, A, C. This is our root, third, fifth. We want to have our fifth as the bottom note, and our root and our third are going to move up an octave. So F up an octave, A up an octave. Okay, next up we have G, B, D, root, third, fifth. Our fifth is the bottom of the chord. The G moves up an octave and the B moves up an octave. Lastly, our A is going to be the bottom note, and so we have D, F, A, root, third, fifth, and our root, which is D, moves up an octave, and our third, which is A, moves up an octave. Okay, last exercise. The given note, the note that they've given us, is the root of the chord. Not the bottom note, the root of the chord. Add the fifth of the chord below and the third of the chord above to make second inversion triads. So, the note that it has given us is the root. So, this is an F chord because F is our root, which means we need an F, an A, and a C. In second inversion, the fifth of the chord is now the bottom. So the bottom note is going to be C, F is the root, A is the third. Okay, now they've given us D is the root of our chord. So we have a D, an F, and an A because we skipped E and we skipped G. This is our root, third, and fifth. So if D is the root, we want our fifth on the bottom, which is A. A on the bottom. And F on the top. Now they've given us an A chord. A skip B is C, C skip D is E, A is the root, C is the third, E is the fifth. We want the fifth on the bottom. So E is on the bottom, A they already gave us, C is on the top. Here we have an E chord because they told us that this is the root. So E skip F is G, G skip A is B. This is our root, third, and fifth. We want our fifth on the bottom and our third on the top. Okay, now we have a G chord. G skip A is B, B skip C is D, root, third, fifth. Put our fifth on the bottom. Our root is already there. Put our third on the top. And then lastly, we have a B chord. B skip C is D, D skip E is F, our root, third, and fifth. The fifth of the chord is going to be on the bottom, F, and B is already there, and D on the top.